Okay guys, I'm going to do a throttle body cleaning on this FJ, so let's get right into it. If you don't know how, this is how you basically change your air filter also. Pop these two here, pull them off to the side, pull this out, there's your air filter, but we're not going to take this out, so we're just going to leave it in. Pull that off to the side. There's going to be two bolts right here. Two nuts, take them off. This is what they look like. 10 millimeter. This hinges up, then pull forward. Put that on the side. Now, what we're gonna have is, you're gonna have a bolt here, also 10 millimeter. One here, take that out. One down in here, take that one out. 10 millimeter also. This is your throttle body clamp right here. Loosen this up. So then from here, you're going to take your mass airflow sensor, push down on this lever, and then slowly rock it back so that it comes out. So from here, you're pretty much set, ready to roll. So you're going to slowly kind of work this out. Sometimes this rubber here gets fused onto the aluminum, so just kind of pull it back gently. Pull this away a little bit. Maybe you could get something, stand it up. Like that. And then you're basically going to look right in here. Let's see, just so I can get this out of the way so you can see. Pull all this off. Okay. There we go. This way you can see a little bit better. Now, this is your throttle body, right in here. So you have like 70, 80,000 miles. You're gonna wanna just check it out. Check it and clean it. It'll be all black inside most of the time. This one's actually very clean. It must have been done. This is actually very clean. We purchased this vehicle used, so whoever had this must have got this cleaned at one time. She definitely, there was like a book like this on all the crap that Toyota was conning her into doing, but actually the throttle body cleaning is actually a really good thing. And then just take a look down inside. Right here where your mass airflow is, just make sure that's clean. If it's not clean, you can purchase this and just shoot some down inside here, just clean it out. Make sure it's nice and clean. Basically what you're doing is you're basically probably get maybe a little bit of gas mileage, just basically to make the truck run smoother by cleaning all this stuff, making sure everything's clean. And since you have this apart, if you have compressed air, now would be a good time to just kind of shoot compressed air in here, clean it all up. Make sure you put rags on everything, so stuff everything up so you don't get dirt on anything. And then just check down in here. Dirt. So if you really want to go in depth, what you're going to do is you're going to take this vacuum line off here, take these 4 bolts out here. This will actually come off. You clean the back and the front. If yours is extremely dirty, pull it out, clean the back and the front, and basically open this up and clean around the butterfly. So I'm actually going to clean that. Oh, by the way, when you do this, you may get a check engine light because you're shoving this cleaner down into the throttle body. So you may get a check engine light. If you do that, a lot of times you could just pull the negative cable off the battery and just kind of let it sit for a couple of minutes and the code will reset itself. This is all drive-by-wire. A lot of the other cars that I tend to do, they have the actual cable and you have the lever. You can pull back the lever. With these, it's drive-by-wire, so you have nothing. Looks clean. That's what I'm getting out of it. So it actually looked clean, but it's the inside's not. See? And just to prove it to you, I'll get a clean rag and do the same thing. Nice clean rag. Spray that on really good. I might actually take this. I think I'm gonna be taking this apart just to get it nice and clean on the inside. The throttle response is so much better. Your gas mileage, you'll see a little bit better in gas mileage. Okay. So I'm gonna pull this apart right here. Might actually leave that on. I think I'll leave those two on. Just pop this off. There we go. So that's off. 10mm also. These are all the same length bolts, so you don't have to worry about anything. There's your rubber O-ring right here. So make sure you don't lose it. It runs right around the outside right here. If this falls off, you're going to end up getting a check engine light. The truck's not going to run correctly. It's going to be a disaster. So make sure you don't lose that. If you do lose it, make sure you get another one or find it. So this is actually pretty dirty in here. I'm going to hold this open, clean in here. A lot of times what will happen too is all this gunk in here, it'll keep the throttle body, the butterfly, from not closing all the way. So you're going to have like sticking throttle problems and your RPMs won't come down all the way, and you know, different things. And depending on how many miles you have on your car, and also the type of fuel and everything you're using, type of conditions. I mean, if you're doing off-roading a lot, you know, you're gonna have to make sure you keep, you know, K&N would be really good for off-roading because it's got the oil. It's gonna trap a lot of the dust and everything. But you want to try to keep this clean. It'll keep the air flowing correctly. I'm probably not, normally I do modifications to my vehicle, but because this FJ tends to have so much torque and so much power, and the fuel economy as it is not the greatest, I'm just going to leave everything bone stock. I'm not going to mess around with taking the charcoal filter out like I did on my Crosstrek. I'm not going to take out the air filter and switch it to a K&N. I want to try to just keep the little bit of gas mileage I have, because every time I tend to do anything on a vehicle to try to get a little bit more power out of it, it always drops the fuel economy. Because if you're getting more air into the engine, you need to put more fuel. It's just the way it works to keep the ratio correct. So I'm just going to leave well enough alone. I mean, the truck has plenty of power, for me at least, for what I do with it. And the fuel economy is kind of okay. I switched over to basically premium gas. I'm running the Mobil 1 5W30, and I keep the maximum air pressure in the tires as possible, and I'm still only getting maybe like 20, 21 on the highway, straight highway. As soon as I get off the highway, drops right down into the teens. All right. So basically, let me pause the video so you don't have to watch me clean all this crap and be bored. And then I'll get back to you when I start putting this back together. Alright, we're back. I got everything cleaned up. Whatever you do, don't spray the carbon choke cleaner in here without taking this rubber gasket off, the O-ring. It tends to eat this up and all. Plus, you really don't want to be shooting the carbon choke cleaner down into here, because that'll really give you a check engine light. Just put it on a rag and just clean the best you can all up in here, and then you should be fine. There is torque specs to all this stuff if you're not familiar with how tight to put any of this stuff, because if you start torquing it down too much, you're going to be breaking things, stripping things out, because keep in mind this is plastic with the little pieces of brass pressed in, you know, molded into it, and these are only, it's all aluminum. So if you, my suggestion is use a quarter drive so you have a really small handle, or if you have to use 3/8, use something very small, because the torque, you know, the leverage on the handle is very short, so you're not going to get as much. And just kind of snug them down. You're not going to wrench down on them super hard, because you will more than likely snap something in here or strip them out or crack this plastic. So you don't want to go crazy with this aluminum and everything. And if you have one of these, just go easy, that's all. And then from there, take your ratchet and try to get these even all the way around the pressure, so that you're not warping anything. Like I said, if you're not used to it, get a small ratchet, or get yourself a very tiny torque wrench and do it with a torque wrench, just so that all of it is even all the way around. Okay. From there, now we're going to put this all back together. If you take this and pull it back like I did, you'll have the vent line down the bottom, the PCV down the bottom. That's this line. You'll follow this right down and around, and it goes to the valve cover. Then you have all the way in the back, which you'll see me fiddling with now. This is a vacuum line. It goes all the way in the back. Right back here. It just pushes on. It doesn't have a clamp or anything. Even though a lot of these have clamps on them, they're not really clamps. They're just there just to give a little bit of pressure. That's all it is. And then we're gonna push this back on. Make sure it hits this. There's actually a aluminum stopper right here. Push it all the way till it hits that stopper. Make sure you put your connector back on for your mass airflow. We're going to start tightening everything down. Alright. Next, you got the one up here. Start these, if you do have something like this, do yourself a favor, start all these by hand. Don't just stick them in the gun and go down, because if you're a little off, these are getting more and more powerful. So if you're a little bit on an angle, you'll cross thread, you'll strip them out by cross threading them. So I mean, it takes a couple more minutes longer, or a couple seconds longer, but it'll save yourself a giant amount of aggravation. Just start them by hand and then ram them in with this. Where are we going? Got stuck on the bolt. A lot of guys just put the stuff back together with these, but I've had bad experiences where because if you have a snap-on, something like this, you have the, it's like, I have the 3/8, but this quarter drive, it's got a lot of impact to it. You could snap a lot of this stuff right off, especially when you got the RPMs going, it's free spinning, and then it hits and stops, and then it starts hammering. It just snaps the stuff right off. So like I said, it may take a little bit longer, a couple more seconds or a minute. Just do it by hand. It'll save yourself so much aggravation. Okay, pull these back here and put your air filter back on. And that's pretty much it. You're done. Slap this back in, push it down, and then put your nuts back on. If you have any questions, comments, let me know. I get back to everybody pretty quick. And like my channel, subscribe, and like the video, whatever. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you the next time.